as we talk about engaging people, one of the things I thought was fascinating that you mentioned in your book, Leadership in the New Science, is the whole concept that strategies and ideas aren't real to people until they have an opportunity to really kind of kick the can and get in there and mess with it.
That's right.
And so can you talk a little bit about that? Because there's so many times I think that leaders are frustrated.
Absolutely.
That people don't just say, yeah, eureka.
I mean, I'm right there with you. As much as I know what's going on and in the process of people developing ownership of your idea, I'll describe that in a moment, but as much as I know this, I sit there and I just have to keep my mouth shut and just keep telling myself, just give this group time. It's actually building ownership. So the process is you present a very well-defined, well-researched, well-thought-out plan at a meeting. You may have given it to people to read ahead of time if you're really good, and if they're even better, they would have read it, which doesn't happen much anymore. But you've put your heart and soul into this and your best, mind, heart into it, and it's really good. And then you have to sit there where sometimes for hours, people will just pick it apart. And they'll ask stupid questions, they'll ask good questions, or it starts out, well, have you thought of this? But then they'll bring in what their current issue is, whatever it is, they'll get on soapboxes. And it's a very painful process to go through. But if you can last it out, what you'll usually find is that by the end of this dissection and deconstruction of your great idea, people will start to put it back together in just about the same form. And there may be, hopefully there's some tweaks or things you've learned from this, but that will make it more successful. But the end result is like, why do we have to go through this? Because this is just what I was proposing, or I said that on page 5. But the process is what's critical here, and it is a process of people getting inside it, getting their own thinking into it, and thereby developing ownership. So people own what they create, and even though you've given them something that's very useful and could be, let's just do this, you don't get that kind of buy-in, real buy-in, unless people have the time to pick it apart and reassemble it. And then we just have to be generous and forgiving and say, okay, that was the necessary process. I won't feel like, I won't feel angry at you for just taking this apart and then putting it back in exactly the way I presented it. It's just what we have to do. So patience is required here. And if you understand that that's what people are doing, maybe you're a little less defensive.